The most dangerous place in history wasn't the forest, it wasn't the road, and it wasn't even the outlaw's den. It was the home. Tonight on A Veil of Crime, we uncover one of the darkest stories the Grimm brothers ever recorded. A tale not about monsters or magic, but about familial murder, concealment, and a crime so disturbing that it was passed down as a warning for generations. This is the Juniper Tree, and you're watching A Veil of Crime. In the Grimm version, a child lives with his father and stepmother. From the beginning, the stepmother's resentment is clear, quiet, simmering, and unchecked. One day, she calls the boy into the house. She asks him to reach into a chest, and when he does, she slams the lid shut, killing him instantly. Panicked, she dismembers the child's body, hides the remains, and stages the death as an accident. Worse still, she cooks the flesh into a stew, which the father unknowingly eats. Only the bones are spared, gathered by the boy's sister and buried beneath a juniper tree. From there, the story moves into folklore imagery. What matters most is the crime itself, because it requires no fantasy at all. The Brothers Grimm did not invent this narrative, they preserved it. Between the late medieval and early modern periods, domestic child murder appears repeatedly in European court records, sermons, and confession literature, often involving step-parents in blended households. Historically documented patterns include child abuse concealed within the home, murder staged as accidents, bodies dismembered or hidden to avoid detection, crimes discovered only through witnesses, confession, or psychological collapse. In eras without forensic science, the household was largely unpoliced. Violence could continue unchecked unless someone spoke, or the guilt became impossible to contain. The juniper tree reflects this reality almost exactly. This was not entertainment, it was instruction. Stories like the juniper tree served as warnings about unchecked authority in the household, moral records of crimes communities could not prosecute, and a way to preserve the truth when legal justice failed. The supernatural ending, often misunderstood, was never the point. The point was the crime, the silence surrounding it, and the cost of that silence. In a world where many victims were never named, folklore became memory. Modern audiences often assume that fairy tales are exaggerations, but the opposite is true. Grimm fairy tales are compressed crime histories, stories told and retold because they happened often enough to be feared. Just like the Pied Piper preserved a mass disappearance, and the robber bridegroom preserved serial murder by deception, the juniper tree preserves the truth that the deadliest violence often came from inside the home. If you want more historically grounded crimes hidden inside Grimm fairy tales, subscribe to A Veil of Crime. This is part of the Grimm Fairy Tale Crime series, where folklore meets documented violence and where the stories were never meant to comfort. They were meant to warn. If you'd like to support this channel and help keep these stories researched, written, and told, you can do so through Buy Me a Coffee. Your support helps me continue uncovering forgotten crimes and preserving the stories history tried to bury. The link is in the description and also on the channel.